Hey, welcome. You ready for some cool stuff? Okay, here we go. Many years ago, I was introduced to an idea that is so profound and so interesting that I wanted to share it with you. It's evolved and kind of changed a little bit with me over the years, and now I'm going to share with you some of the insights that have come from this and from some of the coaching I've been doing. The idea is this. In its simplest form, there's a spiritual law that says that anything that we hate, anything that we are passionate about, anything that is getting after us at any one time in our life, based on our experience with other people, the experiences that are going around us, the stimuli that are happening around us, anything that's triggering us is already in us. That means that if you say, I hate people that tell lies, that means that you have some dishonesty in you. If you say, I hate people that create drama, that means you're a drama person. If someone says to you, I don't like this, and it creates a big stir inside you, then that means that that concern is in you. Now, it's fair to say that all of the concerns are in us to some degree or another. Some are just more obvious and more visible than others. However, what we're talking about here is a very, very interesting concept for us to be able to observe ourselves. Many times in life, the most difficult thing for us to do is to see ourselves very clearly because we're so close to the subject. Most of the time, other people can see us better than we can see ourselves because they're different observers. But they look at us with a certain set of eyes, a certain set of criteria. Now, what are those criteria that they use? The criteria that they use are the things that are bothering them, the things that are disturbing them. And those are all based on something that we call judgments. Judgments are something that we do on others where we assess for them and from ourselves what it is that is bad or wrong or evil or something like that in terms of what it is that they are and what it is that they are doing. And so what we do is we judge others by saying, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this, these are not things that are acceptable. What we're really saying to them is that we have judgments about those parts of life, and that the judgments are so strong in us that we have established a way of criticizing and critiquing those around us that have those principles or those practices in their lives. Judgments are a big problem because they always come back to bite us. And not only that, but they start to expose us. If you want to find out what's going on with a person, all you have to do is listen to what they're talking about. Or ask them, what do you dislike or what do you hate? And when you ask them that question and they're open and honest with you, you'll find out exactly the strongest judgments in life. The things that are going on that are creating the problems, the issues, the emotions in their life, all you have to do is listen to them. Now, the most natural tendency is to judge their judgments and to get after them for judging. But by doing that, you're judging them on their judgments. So it points out where you are triggered, what the things are going on with you. Judgments are the way of the universe to come back, let us know what is going on with us. So you may want to look at this from a perspective of, okay, Paul, you're just being critical of me, but that's not what it is. This is like a most wonderful, insightful feedback mechanism that we have, that the universe has given to us. And it's at the spiritual level, the most deepest level. And that is because when you can identify what's really bugging you right now, what you really hate about others and what you really hate about life, then you can see immediately, instantly, what your next challenge is, what it is that's going on with you and what you need to work on next. So the things that are really, really bugging you about others, that means that those are the areas that are the most critical, the most pertinent, the most current issues for you to take care of yourself. So the universe has a really wonderful way of letting us know where it is that we need to work on. Now, there's another aspect of this that's not the spiritual, but it's more in the physical. And that is the way that our body responds to us based on what it is that we're doing with our lives. So if we have illnesses or disease, as they commonly called, if we have problems going on with our body, say for example, let's say we have arthritis. The natural symbolism of arthritis obviously is flexibility. That gives us an idea that we are being inflexible in our thinking. So there's feedback coming back from our body. There's feedback coming back because of emotions, the things that jar us, the things that trigger us so starkly. And those are the things that we need to work on. Now I say need to work on them. If you don't want to work on them, you don't have to. But if you're interested in evolving, if you're interested in personal development, in developing yourself, and looking at the areas that are holding you back, the things that are really kind of blocking you from going to the next level, just look at what is triggering you right now. Look at what is happening with you and what kinds of things people are making you mad and make you angry from. That's the key. That's the trigger. That's the feedback. It's the mirror in life that the universe gives to us to let us see ourselves. Now, obviously, we can get more information from other people and get some feedback, but many times their feedback is based on their own judgments and their own concerns, and they're not clear observers. But this is a way, if you want to know for yourself what's going on with you, how you can find out in addition to some other material that you may want to look at from other people. So what we're interested here in is personal development. We're interested in developing ourselves into the most highly evolved, the most interesting, the least blocked person will have more opportunity because you have more love flowing through you, the more opportunities you have because you have less things that are holding you back. And that's where you want to be, right? Into flow, frictionless, the least number of defensive, the least number of concerns that are holding you back so that you can get into this flow with the universe and grow and develop in a way that's possible. Now, there's another way of getting feedback, and that is not that well known, but one that I have been working on for many years, and that is to get feedback direct from the divine. You can enter into conversations with the divine, and they will tell you right up front almost what's going on with you and where it is that you need to work on. But if you don't want to do that, you'll see that the natural laws, the laws of letting us see ourselves based on what it is that's triggering us, based on what it is that we judge, is very, very wonderful in terms of being able to find out about ourselves. We also can find out a lot about other people, but then of course when we're doing that, then we're stepping into the world of judging and trying to fix them, which is not so productive unless they're open to it and unless you're a great teacher or a master in that area. So there's an opportunity here for each one of us to observe our emotions, to observe our judgments, and the process of doing that is the way of getting feedback for ourselves on what the next area of growth for ourselves is, what the area we need to look at to get ourselves back into a more centered, more aware, more enlightened state. And when we look at these areas that we need to work on and then work on them, what happens is they start to go away. It's a very interesting process because as soon as you work on, say, for example, your anger, you really hate that people get angry around you. That means that you have an anger issue. When you look at your anger and start working with it, you start looking at your fears and what's causing your anger, and that starts to go away, all of a sudden your anger goes away, but also the awareness of your anger goes away as well. In other words, that starts to dissipate and starts to slowly fade into the past. But then something else shows up. But gradually, over time, you can work through these things, and you can do this on an ongoing progressive basis to the point where you get to the place where there are very few things that ever trigger you, that ever get to you. Most of the time, you're living in a place of love, in a place of awareness, in an environment you've created for yourself where you can just enjoy each moment and all the abundance and the presence that are there for us in this present moment. It's all there available to us, waiting for us. And yet, if we have these other issues, these judgments, these expectations of other people, then we can't get to that place of peace. We can't get to the place where we're okay with people doing what they do, and we allow them to do what they do, and we love them in spite of those things, and there are no judgments. Can you imagine how blissful and wonderful that place is? It's available to you. It's available to me. If you have questions or want to comment about this or look at this, get in touch and let's talk more. Thanks a lot.